welcome to my first viewing episode of 2021. So to start off, for this new year, I decided to make this channel, this series, more organized with the first viewings. And basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the Karsten Runnequist format, where it's like how every when he does his what I watched every month. I'm thinking of doing it where it's all my first viewings that I watched in 1 month. And so I saw about 8 first viewings. And so I guess let's get right into it. And if you could, please subscribe and like and leave a comment down below and what you thought about these movies that I saw. So kicking off with the first film, and that is Ridley Scott's Alien. I saw this film New Year's Day night at my local AMC theater because it was $5 cheap for since it was one of their old films that they were re-releasing. I saw it with my dad. We were pumped to see it. My dad had never seen Aliens before, but we were excited. I'd never seen any of these movies before, and I've seen Predator. I had seen other Ridley Scott films like Blade Runner and Gladiator, and I love those movies. And then I went and I saw it, and I left very disappointed. I'm sorry. I'm probably the first YouTuber on YouTube to actually say that this movie disappointed me because... And you might think, oh, I just don't like slow movies. No, I actually do like slow movies. Even slow... I like when something is slow. And, like, if you want to... And a good example is that the same year this came out, Nosferatu the Vampire, one of my favorite horror film, came out, and that movie is very slow, but it's slow in a way where it's quick. But in Alien, it's so slow, it never feels like it's over, and that's the entire movie. It feels slow. Now granted, when it gets to the second half and the alien gets loose, it doesn't feel that slow as the opening half, but the first half, I can't really... I just was like, this is just so slow pace, and even Blade Runner slow pace. But again, it feels quick. It's slow, but it feels quick, and that's just my biggest problem. It's so slow and boring, and I'm kind of like, people love this movie, and there's actually people who prefer this over Aliens. But anyway, yeah, Alien was just not a good movie. And even, like, it wasn't even scary. I just, like, literally wasn't horrified. And probably, yes, it was when it came out. But just none of the scenes even scare me. Not even the iconic, like, puppet scene when the alien comes out of John Hurt's belly.
No, don't touch it! Don't touch it!
If anything, it's just kind of hilarious. It's just like, I would literally just laugh my ass off if, like, if some, like, puppet alien, this little puppet alien just popped out of my chest. It's just like, it's funny. It's just really funny, and maybe I think it's funny just because of, well... The scene from Spaceballs, that when they parodied it.
Is he all right?
Yeah, the guy digs me. Hey, what's wrong with this guy? I don't know. Bring him some water. Water my ass. Bring this guy some Pepto-Bismol. Waitress, what did he order?
Oh, he had a special.
That's what I ordered. Change my order to the soup. Good move.
Oh, no. Not again.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss, my wine. Baby, my heart's on fire. please me, then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own.
Check, please.
Alien, I really wanted to love it. I mean, if you want me to say good stuff about it, it had good effects. The effects are they still hold up from today. The design, production design, all that stuff from H.R. Geiger is pretty cool. I do love the look of the alien. The performances are actually pretty good. I especially love Ash. He's probably my favorite character, maybe just because he's an android, and I can't believe they made it up to be like a twist at the end, when even though it's kind of funny when he just like bursts out.
Get her up! 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 Get her up!
Sigourney Weaver does a good performance, but all around, I really wanted to love Alien, and I think I will love Aliens better. And I love the two Ridley Scott films I've seen. I love Blade Runner. I love Gladiator. It's one of my top 5 favorite movies. And Alien just kind of was so dull and boring. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get into Alien, but it just really disappointed me. So yeah, that's Alien. So the next film I watched was Hidden Figures.
They'll call it.
Alright, so I watched this film on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Seeing it's kind of a black story about civil rights, but mostly it's about these black women who worked at NASA, and how they provide all the math skills. They helped all the tests and the explorations and all that. And it was a good film. I really don't have that much to say. If anything, it was just the help, but it took the help, but the setting was at NASA, and yeah, that's really mostly what it was, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. I liked the acting from Octavia Spencer, Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst, Mahershala Ali. They all did a great job in this film, and also Dr. Sheldon Cooper, who was meant to be the racist, sexist of the film. And yeah, but I was very shocked by the actual historical inaccuracies. The biggest one actually being that the 3 women weren't even friends in real life. They were all they just never really weren't close friends. And I guess they met each other before in the past. But they just weren't close friends at all, as they set it up to be. They were all from different timelines. Not timelines. It's different. They were different periods of in that history at that historic moment. Virginia was already integrated in 1958, 3 years before the events. So, and even Kevin Costner's role never happened, and this scene never happened.
There we have it. No more colored restrooms. No more white restrooms. Just plain old toilets.
Go wherever you damn well please. Preferably closer to your desk.
And she never really even went into that room, as she stated, and she never even faced, like, that much prejudice to begin with. That was mostly the engineer woman. I'm sorry I forgot their names, but anyway, Hidden Figures, it was nice, but it was kind of corny, but in a way, I'm going to have some nostalgia for the movie when I come, as the years go on. I'm going to have somewhat nostalgia for it. It's going to just bring me back to this time, you know. But yeah, that's Hidden Figures. It was just a nice film. Alright, so next film is Zoolander.
How can children learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building? Zoolander.
Alright, so Zoolander is one of those comedies that I never got to see, but everyone says that, oh, it's so hilarious, and the sequel's awful, because I remember when the sequel came out and people are hating it. And so, and I remember my friends really loved the school scene when he just throws the model down. And that scene definitely is very funny.
Without much further ado, I give you the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
What is this?
A center for ants? What?
How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
I'm really just not a big Ben Stiller fan. He just never grabbed me as a comedian. Will Ferrell, the villain in this film, who I really love, and stuff like Elf, the Lego Movie, Anchorman, Step Brothers. I think he's very funny. Will Ferrell, and even Owen Wilson I like too. Also John Voight is in the film. He has a funny part. But Ben Stiller I never really was the biggest fan of. But I mean, I think the thing I really wanted was like a quirky spy film, kind of like Austin Powers, where all these fashion models committed all these like assassinations against Abraham Lincoln and JFK. I thought that stuff was funny, and how it was about like trying to prevent this assassination against this like this guy who was leader of an Asian government. But anyway, it was fun. I had a fun time with Zoolander, but I mean, it's not one of the greatest comedies ever, and I just not a big Ben Stiller fan. And I liked Owen Wilson. Again, he was funny. I like them together as like their banter is kind of funny. I like his wife in the film, and that's really it. Zoolander. It was just a funny film, and that's all. It's just one of those blockbuster films you'd watch with your girlfriend. Alright, so then the next film I watched was the Academy Award-winning film by Barry Jenkins, Moonlight.
You're my only. I'm your only. No. You gon' listen.
To who, Ma? Huh? To you?
Who is you, man? I ain't seen you in like a decade. It's not what I expected.
What did you expect?
I kind of watched Moonlight just to do this for a school project, and but the other reason is because it kind of beat one of my favorite musicals and movies of all time, La La Land. If you know the real story, I think everyone knows the story on what happened with it at the Oscars.
Platt, my mentor Sam Cohn, my parents, my children, my wife Julie, on whose shoulders I've stood for 40 years because she insisted I reach for the stars, and to the Hollywood community that I'm so proud to be a part of, and to the Hollywood in the hearts and minds of people everywhere. Repression is the enemy of civilization. So keep dreaming, because the dreams we dream today will provide the love, the compassion, and the humanity that will narrate the stories of our lives tomorrow. Fred?
What's the love of my life, Ali Lowy? I'm up here because of you. I love you so much. It's my family, maman, papa, Jeff, Hommage, je vous adore. Matt Pluff, you kicked this off. And Damien Chazelle, we're standing on your shoulders. We lost, by the way, but, you know.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
And when I watched it, now, first off, the movie really looks great. I love the use of blue, and Mahershala Ali, for the few scenes that he's in, he was pretty good. And that's really it I have to say. This movie, it was just the real reason this movie won. I'm sorry, it's just because the previous Oscar year was people complained not being too diverse. And so everything is just I'm kind of disgusted that this film won, because La La Land was such a great film, and Moonlight, it just feels very empty to me. Everything about it, it's just Mahershala Ali, who won Best Supporting Actor, is in the film for like 10 to 15 minutes, and he's good, but then he literally leaves. He's only the first part of the movie, and it's just, I really didn't like this. This movie is just kind of disgusts me a bit. It's just the idea. It's just this black gay kid, and I don't even get how he's gay. It's like they don't even explain. We don't even go into how much how he becomes gay. It's just, maybe I missed stuff. I looked at some videos about people deconstructing it, analyzing it, and I really get nothing from this movie. This movie kind of makes me mad, if anything. This movie makes me I'm just very frustrated that this movie won. I'm sorry. And I'm just repeating myself. And yeah, that's Moonlight. Nice looking film, but just everything about it just so empty. And even the ending is just empty. It's just him reuniting with his high school crush. That was just it. That's the ending. It just takes place at a restaurant. It's just Moonlight. Very just uninspiring to me. I don't care for this movie at all. But at least, so the next film is a really good movie, Almost Famous.
We're gonna die. Something should happen. Maybe I never said this enough. I love all of you. I slept with Martin today. I did too. Me too. I'm gay!
Don't you have any regular friends?
Famous people are just more interesting.
Alright, so Almost Famous is one of those movies where it gets better as it goes along, because the opening, when he's a little kid, it's not that great, where it's explained that he's not 12, he's 11, because the mom moved him up to the first grade when he was really young, and that's it. That's just the only part. The first part isn't that great, but then when he meets up with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he joins the band, when he meets Penny Lane, it's actually a very fun film and entertaining, and it's just one of those movies that I love, that makes you laugh, and makes you emotional, and makes you very excited at the end, and it makes you just very happy, gives you a warm feeling at the end, and I really loved Almost Famous. It was a good movie. I might need to see it again, but I really enjoyed this movie, and it does have Dwight in it from The Office. He's in this movie. So Cam from Modern Family, he's also in it as the guy who works at the hotel. He's very funny, and if you've seen Modern Family, he's very funny in that show too.
Message from Elaine. Your mother. She's a handful.
I know.
She freaked me out.
Great performance from Kate Hudson, Frances McDormand, and even Jason Lee, who gives an underrated performance in this movie as the lead singer. I think he's very good in this film.
You or something.
Look, I'm always going to tell you the truth.
Are you doing coke again?
Oh, yeah, all the time. This is big stuff, man. From the very beginning, we said I'm the front man and you're the guitarist with Mystique. That's the dynamic we agreed on. Page, Plant, Mick, Keith, Blackmore, Gillen. But somehow it's all turning around. We have got to control what's happening. There's a responsibility here.
Excuse me, but didn't we all get into this to avoid responsibility?
I can't say any more with the writer here.
No. You can trust him. Say what you want. He won't write it.
Look, I work as hard or harder than anybody on that stage. You know what I do? I connect. I get people off. I look for the one guy who isn't getting off, and I make him get off. Actually,
the performances from Patrick Fugit and the band leader Russell, with their performances as the main characters, I love them. They're very good, and I love the performances. This is just a very fun, emotional ride, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's on Amazon. It's like one of those Amazon movies that they always have on, and they're probably never going to take it down anytime soon. But yeah, Almost Famous. It's a very funny film and very emotional, and I just love that bus scene when they're singing Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
Dancing in the sand. Now she's in me, always with me. Tiny dancer in my hand. Jesus freaks out in the street, and then tickets out for gone. Turning back, she just laughs. The boulevard is not that bad. Piano man, he makes a stand in the auditorium, looking on. She sings her songs, the words she knows, the tune she hums. All because a tiny dancer.
I have to go home.
Count the headlights on the highway.
You are home.
Lay me down and she's a
Alright, the next film is Jim Carrey's The Truman Show.
Best thing that I would ever do is lie to you. Fade up music. That's our hero shot. He's gone.
Okay? Yes! Wanna do it again? No!
Find him. Truman, where are you going?
You can do it.
How do we stop him? Give me some lightning.
Is that the best you can do?
Cut transmission! I like your pen. I was wondering that myself.
Jim Carrey, The Truman Show. Watch what happens.
Truman Show is one of those movies that I've always longing to see just because of the trailer and its concept. And I finally saw it this weekend, and I liked it. It was a good movie. It definitely, I liked when it's dark. It was very dark, and when it got to some to its clever ideas, it was very good and clever. Whenever like the did the scenes with the ads, which were always good.
Help, Truman. You're not well.
Why do you want to have a baby with me? You can't stand me.
That's not true.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about?
Who are you talking to? I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
What the hell does this have to do with anything?
Tell me what's happening!
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
Roman!
Meryl!
You are scaring me!
And always asking questions about obsession and privacy and not being aware of reality. It's still a good film, and even this, it even has like these syndromes or like these delusions about people thinking that they're in like a Truman Show scenario, which, I mean, even the screenwriter saying, you've gotten there when there's a disorder for it. But yeah, Truman Show, there's a lot of impressive stuff about it, but I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan. I love The Mask, The Grinch, and a Series of Unfortunate Events. Those movies are kind of fun, and I think he's very good in those, especially The Grinch. The Grinch is actually my favorite performance from him, because it feels very different from, like, Ace Ventura and The Mask. And I've never even seen the Ace Ventura films, but it's definitely obvious. Once you see a Jim Carrey film, you kind of know how he is. Especially in, like, Batman Forever as the Riddler. He's just, once you've seen it, you know his comic routine. But, again, I like The Truman Show. It was still a good movie. But, I mean, even at times I thought, like, there were some issues with the plot. But there's a lot of stuff I do love. I do like all the performances, especially from his friend, his god, the studio... The producer, Christoph, his wife, played by Laura Linney, and Paul Giamatti, who has a little like a role in this film as like the guy like at the control booth, at the top. And I love the ending when he goes out into the world, but I think it's ruined by the last shot with the two security guards.
Cease transmission.
Ceasing transmission.
You want another slice?
No, I'm okay.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else.
Where's the TV guy?
I would have liked to see more with him and the other girl, the girl that snuck into, the stage, and it was interesting how, like, even how his life was even being planned, which was messed up, and how it was even his dad, who was sad that he died in the water, but really he was just, like, fired, and which is kind of messed up. And yeah, this movie, it definitely has a lot of great ideas, but I just really it just didn't really grab me that much as it was really meant to. But Truman Show is still a very solid, complex film. Alright, so the next film, Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket.
Think we waste goods for freedom? This is a slaughter.
Alright, so, I can't talk about this film by first mentioning the best actor and one of the greatest supporting cast members of all time, R. Lee Ermey, who, as the drill sergeant, chews every scene that he's in. He is just amazing in this role. They originally actually wanted Robert De Niro to be in this movie as the drill sergeant, but they didn't think it would be a good idea to kill him off. Spoiler alert, halfway, because he hasn't in the film that much. But Robert De Niro would have been fine, but he really would not have bring the improvisation of R. Lee Ermey's character in this film. You just can't, you can't imagine this film without him, because he was a real drill sergeant back then. And it's amazing that he got him for this movie. And again, he chews up the scene, but anyway, this movie has great cinematography, like how it shoots all the scenes with the, as we see, like, the guys, working out on the field with their marches and their exercising is all great. How it's shot. The boot camp scenes are just all my favorites. Like, they're just a bunch of scenes of these guys just marching and the Army in the background. It's all brilliant, and we see Private Pyle, this guy who goes crazy as he's being tormented by Army and the other cadets. And this opening is brilliant. And then the rest of the movie, we see the main character Joker going into the army, and yeah, all right. You probably want me to tell you what's the best part of this. If I like the second act, again, the first half of the bootleg is bootleg camp. It's boot camp. It's pretty great, but then then we get to the military scene. It's not that great. It's just not as great as the first boot camp scene. I do like how it does film everything. The cinematography is still good, but it's just not as good as how it was at boot camp, when it was just amazing. It's nice when they're in the military. Like, those scenes are kind of cool and neat, but and disturbing at times, but just not as near as boot camp. But I still love this film. It's actually my favorite Kubrick film. I've only seen 2001. I've seen a lot. I saw like a little bit of Paths of Glories, but I loved all the stuff at the beginning with the trenches, but I'm just not a big fan of courtroom dramas in general. But Full Metal Jacket is everything that I wanted for Paths of Glory, and was just a dark World War I story in the trenches. And that's kind of what Full Metal Jacket was kind of made up for. And this was his second to last movie. So Full Metal Jacket, brilliant film. Go check it out. And I definitely need to start seeing more Kubrick. And especially the big one that I need to see is Barry Lyndon, because everyone keeps talking about it all over the place. And it's like his most underrated film. But must see Barry Lyndon. But Full Metal Jacket, must check out. So I ended the week with Wayne's World.
Okay, we just wanted to let you know that we're making a movie too. And it's called...
Wayne's World! It's Wayne's World! Everybody cry! It's excellent!
Alright.
So basically I watched Wayne's World, and I never really ever got to finish this movie. And I love Mike Myers and Austin Powers and the Shrek and even Cat in the Hat. I'm sorry. I love the Cat in the Hat film. It's such a dumb, bad film, but it's just... Mike Myers is just he's trying to be funny. He's trying to be somewhat edgy. And I still liked Cat in the Hat at the end. It's just something else. But anyway, I really loved Wayne's World. The comedy is just brilliant. Their performances, and how it's just these guys who hangs out outside of Chicago, and they have their own little TV show, and they're kind of they're like these local celebrities. I really love it. I love Wayne's World. And Rob Lowe is in it. Ed O'Neill from Modern Family's in it, and he's great as this guy who committed murder and complains about it or something. It's very funny.
This is the manager, Glenn. He's here 24 hours a day. I recommend the Sugar Pucks. They're excellent. Come on.
I'd never done a crazy thing in my life before that night. Why is it? If a man kills another man in battle, it's called heroic. Yet if he kills a man in the heat of passion, it's called murder.
Hello! What do you think you're doing? Only me and Garth get to talk to the camera. Come on.
And I just love how they're all these goofy, grown-ups, how they love and I just love them in hanging out with all these businessmen with Rob Lowe and his friend. That's kind of funny.
Your show, kids are looking at me in a whole new way.
I love you, man.
And I love you. Because I've learned that platonic love can exist between two grown men.
I just love when they're just talking with other people, and I definitely love their Wayne's romance with Cassandra. I love Garth. He's just very funny in this film. I like all of his little bits with him falling down.
Excuse me. I fell.
And this definitely shows that Dana Carvey can be funny, and it cannot be Master of Disguise bad. But Wayne's World, just a hilarious comedy, just that's not like has huge stakes. It's just about these guys that want to just wants to party on, and that's the fact that's just the part that I love about this movie. It's just a brilliant movie, and I just love the alternate endings, especially the Scooby-Doo ending.
Let's just see who you really are, mister. Why, it's Old Man Withers, the guy who runs the haunted amusement park. And I would have got it.
And who can't forget the hilarious product placement scene? I mean, I can't even sum up it. I just love this scene.
Signed a contract guaranteeing him certain concessions, one of them being a spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but basically it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Garth, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't.
Wayne's World, you go watch it. It's a great film. I love Mike Myers. Though I will admit I like Austin Powers just a bit more, just because it's just spies and it has more of a plot. But I still have Wayne's World, how it's very low stakes again. But I love this film. I highly recommend you check it out. So yeah, Wayne's World. So now I'm actually for this year I want to now rank every first viewing that I've watched for every month. So here's the rankings of my 8 films that I watched this month. So coming in last place is Alien. I was just very let down by this movie. Should have been better. Moonlight, very overrated. La La Land just should have won. I just felt very empty by this movie. Hidden Figures, it was good. It was just The Help, but with NASA as a background setting. Zoolander, it was funny. It's a fun film to watch. It's just fun, nothing else. The Truman Show, very good. You should definitely check this one out. It's very complex and interesting. Full Metal Jacket, whenever Arlie Ermey was on, it was great. The second half just feels a bit loose. Wayne's World, very funny comedy. I highly recommend this one. And I definitely highly recommend number 1, best one of the month, Almost Famous. What a great flick. So, there it is. Tell me your rankings of all these 8 movies in the comments below, or your rankings of the first viewings you've seen this month. And I'll see you next time. Bye.